Defects, the MCU, back at it again. Let's talk about it. What is up, Defects? Welcome to another rumor roundup. Today we're talking about the Silver Surfer in the MCU, possibly being casted by Anya Taylor Joy from the Queen's Gambit. This is according to industry insider Daniel RPK. But before we get started, Matt, what's going on, brother?
What's up, my man? Yeah, Jay sent me the slides over on this one, and I'm like, all right, let's do this. Let's dig into this. I'm sure we're gonna get a lot of strong opinions on this, and we got some of our own. So this will be a good one, guys. This is
Yeah,
gonna
got
this is informative, and it's not this isn't just a straight bass session. Like we got some facts. All right, so stick with us.
yeah, get defects. And this is no bashing on females in the MCU. It's just
Absolutely not.
why. Why? And we'll get into that further. So that's just our little disclaimer. This is not degrading women or, like I said, females in the MCU, but you have so many great women characters in Marvel, in DC. Why is the need to replace male characters with female characters? So, Matt, let's just get into it. So, a lot of waves in the community with this one, Matt. A fan favorite Silver Surfer getting recasted by a female in Anya Taylor Joy. What do you think, man?
I guess, like you said, why? Like why would we do? I mean, I think she's a great actress. She's definitely easy to look at. That's for sure.
Yep.
And like Jay said, the defects. We love our females. You know what I mean? But it just to me doesn't make sense. For me, I'll just say I don't believe the rumor. I got to be honest. I do think we're. I think it's like a game of telephone, and we'll get into that. I don't want to steal the thunder for later in the video here, but I do think maybe maybe it's not Silver Surfer. I'll leave it at that. I'll let Jay get into it as a little further where this rumor probably ends up, but I just don't see this. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't understand the reasoning behind it. I could see this having a more of a negative impact than a positive impact on the box office. So the question is why? But
It
we're going to talk about it. So let's go.
If this rumor is true, Matt, does this put the final nail into the coffin of the MCU?
I mean, I don't know if it's the final nail, but it's definitely damn close because we are damn close as it is. And I think, and you could go in the comments and you could say, "Oh, it's this." No, guys, this shit is real at this point. I don't know if you guys have heard, but Marvel, Kevin Feige, and the MCU has essentially put the entire phase on hold. Okay, in 2024, the only movie that we're getting is Deadpool, and that's because it's been written for about 3 years and that thing's ready to go. You can't overcook that thing anymore. So they're putting that out there because they probably feel like it's in a safe place. They're not going to mess with Deadpool. That is going to be a good movie. You're going to have Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds. That's a safe play for them. They have Echo coming out, which is a villain focused Disney Plus show, which is something they said they would never do, and it's ultra violent. So they're going to check a lot of boxes for people there. Me and Jay were talking about that the other day. All that has to be is okay. It doesn't even have to be great. It just has to be okay because it's villain centered, and it's going to be violent. So you're going to win a lot of people over just for those two things. So guys, don't think that they are not making plans based on what's happened over the past 2 years with the box office numbers and the fan feedback. So while I don't think it would be the last nail, I think the casket would be basically almost not airtight, but damn near close.
All right, and Matt, with recent numbers with the Marvels dropping off and stuff like that, Feige got to be on the hot seat. Disney execs have to have this guy on the hot seat. You know when you're on the hot seat. He knows he's on the hot seat. When you're on the hot seat, if this is true, why do something like this? Why bury yourself? Norrin Red is such an iconic character. The Silver Surfer is one of the biggest characters in Marvel Comics. If Stan Lee was alive today, I don't think this stuff would have been moving forward as strong as it has with all these female roles, and especially with the gender swapping of characters. But
Right. We'll get into
we'll
that,
get
right? We're gonna
yeah,
we
we'll
have
get
more
into that.
evidence of that. But if this rumor is true, Jay, I know you picked out some books.
Yeah, so here we go, guys. Bring it up. These two books on the top of everybody's list this week. Hercules, Twilight of a God, number one. That's the first appearance of Juno, who later becomes Silver Surfer in that issue there, number four. A quick background on Juno, guys. She is the granddaughter of Hercules. After Hercules sacrificed himself to save the Andromeda galaxy, Juno offered herself to Galactus to become his new herald. Since Hercules did sacrifice himself, Galactus accepted Juno and was turned into the Silver Surfer. Here's the kicker right here, guys. That's going to make everyone laugh. She swore to never allow Galactus to destroy another civilization as long as she was Herald. So you know that didn't last. And it's a character with not a huge background story, guys. We've seen Hercules in the MCU, but do they go as far as bringing Hercules' granddaughter in? Do they do something totally different and just make a new? Do they make Norn Rad a woman? Do they use Juno? I don't. If this is true, I don't see Juno being the Silver Surfer. I see just a female Silver Surfer. And again, guys, these books, that number one, Hercules, Twilight of a God, selling for about $25 online. It's actually going more than the character appearance, which is number four, her as the Silver Surfer. That's probably like a $15 book now. Books you could definitely find in the back bins. Books that were probably not heavily printed because I've I've never seen these books before they were talked about, and that's just me being honest. A story arc I never really read. I was never into Hercules. Matt, I don't know about you. Have you seen these? Definitely not that number one.
I've never seen these, and I'm sure these are in a lot of dollar bins, guys. And I think Jay pointing out the price of what these books are going for now. Obviously, there's a bit of FOMO in there, but I think it also the FOMO has died down in a lot of this stuff for
Yes.
recently because the market shift, and I think people are getting smarter. I think what's left over for comic buyers right now are smarter comic collectors. They're not falling for as much FOMO, but unfortunately, Silver Surfer is such an iconic character that this is creating this price movement because of how strong a character this is in comics and in people's hearts. No matter where you collected through comics, you probably, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, you had some type of interaction in your story and your reading with Silver Surfer. And guys, this upset Jay so much. He couldn't even spell Hercules Her. He had to spell it Hur because that's how mad he is, right?
Yeah, that's it.
He didn't want to spell her. He didn't want to spell her.
But yo, Matt, it's so funny because you said, but sales are up over 300% on both of these books.
I know.
And you look on eBay, people are still scooping these up. I mean, if you pay $25 for this book, I think you're gonna take a hurting on it because once this movie comes out, main characters' prices drop when movies comes out, especially Juno. I mean, and guys, here's just a little panel I pulled up so you can get an actual look at her. She looks awesome, right?
Yeah,
Awesome looking
definitely.
character. But moving forward with her, I don't know, guys. And we'll get into there's other heralds. There's other female heralds, which is the direction they should have went in, that are actually female, that they wouldn't have to gender swap with. So Matt, if you could move into the next slide.
Yeah, I just want to say, guys, after seeing this slide, I'm on Team Juno because if Silver Surfer has curves like that in the movie, I think I'm gonna have to be okay with it. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. But like Jay alluded to, I was trying to allude to it earlier. We have female heralds. So go ahead,
Yeah,
Jay,
guys.
take it away.
A character that I learned about when reading Annihilation is you have Stardust, the Herald of Galactus, first appearing in Stormbreaker, the Saga Beta Ray Bill number one. Probably like a $25, $30 book, but an awesome herald. That's a female. Why not go in that direction? Why change things up? And then Matt, if you can move on, we have the biggest of all female heralds, Frankie Ray. First appearing as Frankie Ray in Fantastic Four number 164, and then we know she turns into Nova and she becomes Herald of Galactus in that Fantastic Four 264. So it's and not only that
244.
Oh, 244. I'm sorry. Not only that, she has ties to the Fantastic Four. She has ties to Johnny Storm. Why not introduce her? Why not bring her in? I mean, another character that was swapped in comic books, she's becoming the Nova, but you have two female based characters that would be awesome for a Fantastic Four movie. Frankie Ray being the better, in my opinion. So why swap anything?
See, I think what I was alluding to earlier with the game of telephone, I think this is what's actually happening. I think comic let me phrase this correctly. If you're a huge fan of Norman Rad and Silver Surfer and you're a fan of the MCU, I think you can kind of calm down a little bit, because I think what we're going to eventually see is that the game of telephone was that Galactus's herald will be female, and somehow somebody translated that into being Silver Surfer will be female, and I think what you're going to get is Frankie Ray. I do think you're going to get Frankie Ray Nova as the Galactus of Herald, and maybe the first Galactus of Herald. I'm not sure. But I just don't see Silver Surfer being a female. It makes no sense. Although we're going to show you some history that shows that the MCU has done some things that don't make sense. So I don't know. I hope I'm not wrong in this case.
Yeah, guys. And moving into the next slides, these are all characters that were gender swapped, that were male in the comic books, and that the MCU made female. So we have Selma Hayek there in the MCU as Ajax. We all know she's in the comic books, in the Eternals, Ajax is a male character. And when I created this list in these slides, I knew there was a lot of people that were swapped, gender swapped in the MCU. But when I went down the list and started making this, I couldn't believe how many. So we'll just go through them fast, Matt. We got Ajax there. Again, from the Eternals, we have Sprite, male in the comics, females. We have Makari. Keep on going through. The list is long. The Ancient One, again, guys, Ghost, right? That was a big disappointment of most people, but we kind of seen her coming along. Not as many people spec on the Ghost character.
Coming
Keep it
back though,
moving.
right? For the Thunderbolts, it sounds like.
Of course, coming back for the Thunderbolts. This one was a shock to a lot of people.
Huge. Yeah.
Because people were grabbing up that first appearance of Taskmaster, and it was revealed, and people were this is, I feel, is when the hate really started coming to fruition, when Taskmaster was gender swapped. But keep on going, Matt. We had Marvel from the Marvels gender swapped. Just so many characters. Dar-Ben, the most recently gender swapped, male in the comics, female in the MCU. All right, so this is where it switches up a little bit. And this is why I didn't show a comic, because She-Hulk is a character in the Marvel comics that was not gender swapped, but she has taken basically the role of the Hulk now. The Hulk, if you're a Hulk fan, you cannot be happy with the Hulk in the MCU. I mean, he didn't want to fight Thanos. You got this Professor Hulk now. They're going to have to change him around because she's the power Hulk in the MCU right now. Right, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I think and I saw some of what Jay did with the slides. The characters that we showed before this, not super important characters. I think, like Jay said, the Taskmaster. And again, I don't think anybody, if you take any one of those characters, nobody's upset. It's when you start, it's the collective of everything that's happening here. And I think the next couple slides are going to show what happened to the Avengers. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
And specifically because, like Jay said, She-Hulk is a prominent character. And I actually really like She-Hulk from the comics. And I think it was okay on Disney Plus. It was okay. But like Jay said, when you look at what happened to Hulk and then the focus on She-Hulk, you couple that with what the slides we're about to go through. Again, it's not an individual. It's not two of these, not three of these. It's the overall picture of what people are seeing, not only as, hey, you're gender swapping. It's not like you're gender swapping and you're succeeding. You're gender swapping and failing. I think that's people's biggest issue. But let's
right. And Matt, just before you move on, but like I said, She-Hulk, not gender swap, right? A big time Marvel character, but replacing the main stage.
Right.
Replacing the main stage. So keep going. Loki, they threw in the female Loki, huge part of Loki season 1 and season 2.
And again, a good character, like part of a good show, did not create an issue. But again, it's the collective, right?
Right. But why not use a character like Enchantress?
Right. Exactly.
Huge one. Huge one.
Okay.
Thor, right? Part of the comics, right? But replacing Thor. Keep on going. Ironheart. We had Iron Man. Now we have Ironheart. If you're gonna get rid of Iron Man, just get rid of the whole character. Bring another female in. Great character, but once again, Hulk, Thor, Loki, Iron Man,
Man.
all being replaced. Shuri. This was under special circumstances, because Chadwick passed away, right? But they had a ton of options to go with. They went with Shuri. Happened in the comics, but again, being replaced.
Happened in recent comics. There was
Right.
other Black Panthers before her for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Hawkeye, right? Again, now
Good character, but
and this was a little different too, because they moved forward with Hawkeye before Jeremy Renner's snowmobile accident or whatever snowblower accident. But again, a Hawkeye, you have other female characters that would be awesome. But like Matt said, it looks to me like the new Avengers is just going to be the old Avengers, but female.
Right. And again, any one of these characters you could you could sit there and say, like, this is cool. Kate Bishop was good. You know, I forget the actress's name. Haley Steinfeld was good. But the problem is when you look at the whole, the collective, that's where we start to see what's happening. Whether you want to say it's a problem or not, you can have that opinion. But the facts are the facts. You can't deny that literally almost every Avenger was replaced with their female counterpart, and how many gender swaps there were. So again, you could think that's a problem or not, but you can't deny that that is the picture that we're showing right now.
And here's the funniest one. A woman replaced by a woman.
I mean, yeah.
So ladies,
funny,
you can get mad too. You can get mad too.
Again, why not bring in a new character? But
why not bring in a new character?
And I loved her. I love Belova. I think she was great. I think she was probably the best part of Black Widow. But again, it's the collective. It's the whole picture that we're showing here.
And now, when Matt, we knew this video was going to create waves, but when Matt and I was talking about it, I mean, if I'm a female and if I'm pro-woman, I'm angry too, because why are you replacing these male characters with female characters when there's so many strong characters in the MCU? Matt and I went over a couple. You got Gamora in the MCU, Nebula, Scarlet Witch. Keep going, Matt. Who do we got?
Wasp.
Wasp. Yep.
We said Black Widow.
Yep.
Black Widows, right? We had a whole Peggy Carter, Sharon Carter, both strong characters. It looks like they're doing something with Sharon Carter, right? Based on what we saw in in Madripoor, and what was that? That was the Captain. Jesus Christ.
Falcon Winter Soldier.
Falcon Winter Soldier. Yeah, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, Monica Rambeau. You have a ton of strong, original female characters in the MCU already. Then we just listed all the ones that were gender swapped, which weren't as important, and then all the ones that were swapped in for their counterpart. And even if, like Jane Foster, that was a small temporary role, but it doesn't matter. Right. It's still part of the collective. Right. Those are the ones that are in the MCU already. And then we kind of had a list of some characters that aren't in the MCU, including some characters that they haven't been able to use yet. Right, Jay?
Right. X-Men characters, guys. We know X-Men are heavy, major female characters. Rogue, Psylocke, Storm, Emma Frost, right? If I'm a chick, I'm thinking to myself, why are we why can't we bring our own strong female characters into the MCU instead of going off a character that already exists? So that was pretty much the point of today's video, guys. I mean, there's a ton. Name them in the comments below, but let us know what you think. Sound off on this, because this has been making huge waves on social media. And it doesn't just start with a female Silver Surfer, but in my opinion, if they gender swap the Silver Surfer, that's the biggest. In my opinion,
would be the big.
That would be the biggest shockwave, because Matt said Ghost, right? Taskmasker, Silver Surfer, huge.
Looking to clean and press your books before submission? Well, look no further than the best in the business, Erod 212 with Express Comic Book Pressing Service. Defects 10 gets you 10% off. Erod will submit your books to CGC and CBCS and pass along his discount. Hit him up on Instagram or email expresscbp@yahoo.com.
I mean, and we brought up the X-Men characters. X-Men, mutants there's so many strong female characters. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to use them just yet. Any character that we saw in the Fox universe, if they were to use them in the MCU up until I think this year or maybe next year, they would have had to use the original actor from Fox. So I understand them not bringing in other actors yet. Right, other characters that we haven't seen yet, because then you essentially have to usher in the X-Men. But we know that's coming.
Yep.
Same thing with the Spider-Verse characters, a ton of original Spider-Verse female characters, right? But again, that's held by Sony right now. But it doesn't mean that they couldn't have started to bring those in, and not only in the animated, right? We could have brought those into Spider-Man. We could have done things like that. Then there's characters like Moondragon, Elektra, Jessica Jones. We saw these characters in Netflix. Crystal from the Inhumans. A Medusa. I mean, there's a ton of characters that we could have used and a ton that we already have used. So why are we still trying to push a square peg into a round hole when you see that there's a negative impact? And we're not saying it's just from this, but you realize there's some type of negative impact happening with your box office numbers right now. And you may want to start looking around. And I think that's what they're starting to do. Going back, we have no issue with having female characters in the MCU. I think we've made that very clear. It's just the way that they've done it.
Yeah. I think the Echo trailer looked fantastic. I mean, you're setting up a tough Kingpin that just lost to a 2-week trained Kate Bishop, and I don't know how you backtrack on that.
With the multiverse and the swapping and the replacing of the Thor, the Black Widow. I mean, we literally replaced every Avenger. It's lazy writing. That's what it is. It's unoriginal. It's not creative. Be creative, MCU. Be creative, Kevin Feige. Because guess what? Kevin Feige, you could be out of a job very soon, to be honest with you. Because Disney's a publicly traded company. So at some point, you keep losing money like you did on the Marvels. And don't tell me it was because of the press tour. I don't want to fucking hear about that. Because Marvel movies should generate hype on their own. Okay? But we could keep going on this, Jay, for fucking 2 hours, I'm sure.
All right, Defects. You heard it here. Leave your comment. We want to know. List some strong female characters that are original, guys. Make sure you make sure you subscribe to the channel. Saturday Night Defects on Very Gary's channel, the Defective Collective. These guys are bringing fire books, guys. So be on the lookout. The link's going to be in the chat below. Dropping YouTube videos every Tuesday and Thursday at 5 p.m. And until the next time, peace out, Defects.